How you guys doing here today? I got Paul Lynn, Michael Todd at the Monster Factory. So Mike, we're in the recovery room here. Tell us a little bit about what you have, and I'll even capitalize on a little bit more.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things. So when I blew the bicep a couple years ago, I was fortunate enough to get to see Elevate Health's recovery room over in Atlanta in Chip Smith's place. And I got to do an hour recovery twice a day in the hyperbaric chamber. Sped up my recovery amazing. I contacted the company. Elevate thought it'd be a good idea to partner with me, so now I have my own hyperbaric chamber, the Elevate recovery room here. But you know so much about the science. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So obviously when people and the Olympic athletes would go train, they'd go to higher elevations. Here you have something, you're actually going above atmospheric pressure. So right here you're 1.3 times atmospheric absolute. As you're in there, you could actually look at the gauge, and that's in kilopascals. So if you were to convert it, 1.3 is like 130 kilopascals. If you want to know the PSI, you either have to be Todd Hutchings or go to Google, figure that out. So over here is some of the equipment. You have an oxygen concentrator. So you're getting a higher percentage of oxygen into your body, because at normal atmospheric, you're like 21% oxygen. I think it's 68% nitrogen, and the rest, you have a few, like less than a percent of trace gases. So here you have a cooler, I believe, which colder air is more dense. You're gonna get more oxygen concentration, per volume. Over here as well, you have a compressor. That's what's bringing you above the atmospheric range. So to talk a little bit about that, back in early 1800s, there was a guy named Henry's Law. He figured out when you have more pressure, oxygen could become more soluble, or gases could be more soluble. You're making the oxygen more soluble, because plasma, being mostly fluid, isn't going to allow oxygen to be very soluble and get into it. So it's the same theory of like a can of soda. You have carbon dioxide that's still soluble in the fluid, but when you open the can of soda, what happens? The CO2 starts off-gassing and coming out because the pressure is released. Here, with blood plasma, actually being able to get further out into the capillaries than your red blood cells, which are bigger, they're not going to be able to get to all those points that are critical for an arm wrestler, like the tendons where you're so beat up, and this is why you're able to recover faster, because you're getting higher oxygen concentrations to where it matters most.
Right.
Which, Paul, as well as recovery, you have injuries.
Yeah.
What do you need to do? You need platelets to get.
You can do it the easy way, and you can buy one of these and get in this every day, or you can go and get platelet-rich plasma and get it injected into your injury, or you can do this and prevent the injury.
Yep. So the best thing you could do is go above atmospheric pressure, where oxygen's more soluble. Your plasma is going to be able to hold a higher concentration of the oxygen, and it's going to get to where it really matters most.
So it's a huge benefit for recovery. So is this the highest level of recovery that's available right now to professional athletes, or there's something even greater than this?
There is greater. So the highest atmospheric one I think I was in.
So it's still hyperbaric chambers, just higher atmospheric.
So this is a mild hyperbaric chamber. So atmospheric, what we're in right now is 14.7. So right now normal atmospheric is 14.7 psi, as we know. So this is 1.3 times that. So you're increasing the pressure that you're under inside there, which is going to allow everything to be more soluble. You're going to get higher concentrations of oxygen in the plasma. So I think I was in a 1.5 or 1.7, which I think is still classified as a mild hyperbaric chamber. If you want to hit those 2s or 2.5s, I think they're more of a solid, rigid design hyperbaric chamber, which I was actually looking at this company.
I think that might be like the one that Eddie Hall has. He just did a video with Brian Shaw, and I think he has one of the solid rigid ones.
And now think about it too.
But you Googled them, what you gonna say?
They have a solid model that I was eyeing up a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna make the purchase on one of these yet, because they're obviously quite a bit of money. But if I was to get one, I'd try to get the highest amount of atmospheric I could, because let's just say you had 2 times atmospheric. That's gonna allow more oxygen to be soluble, because you're hitting greater pressure. So think of it as a proportional. I don't have the whiteboard like Todd Hutchings does, and obviously he's a little bit, he's smarter than any arm wrestler, I think. But let's just say, you follow this proportion, well, Henry's Law, the higher the pressure, the more soluble gas you're gonna have in a fluid, because the fluid's not compressible, gas is compressible, so you're gonna allow it to be more soluble in that, plasma. So let's say you're 2 times atmospheric, you're gonna have, it might not be twice the amount, but it should be somewhere along that linear range to allow to have twice the amount of oxygen concentration in your body. So that's gonna heal that much quicker.
So would it improve performance as well, or just improve healing?
100%. Your performance, healing, everything's gonna all
Because
translate.
you have, gotcha.
And here's the thing: when you're out of breath, are you gonna go out there and hit your max, or are you when you're like full of oxygen, completely ready to go? Are you gonna feel better?
Obviously, we need full oxygen, ready to go.
And that's why when Olympic athletes are trying to increase their VO2 max, they're training at the highest elevations they could. What's happening? When you go to sea level versus higher level elevations, atmospheric pressure is actually changing. That's why they say 1.3 at sea level or whatever. The atmospheric pressure is what we're manipulating to allow oxygen to become more or less soluble. Obviously, we want more soluble.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Well, I want to say thank you to Elevate Health Recovery Room. Appreciate Storm and Paul to come down and help train with me and check all this stuff out. So you actually taught me quite a bit about this.
Well, thanks to Michael Todd, and I don't know this company, but thank you for making awesome products. Even if you look at it, you can see there's a little bit of a pressure release here. You got a triple zipper. You got a gauge you can watch in there where you're actually going up. It's in kPa and PSI. And then there's a little vent. One thing when you are coming out of this, I mean, 1.3 is nothing too crazy, but obviously start depressurizing yourself slow, similar to how divers do it. And then, yeah, come out and just feel the benefits and recover. Because I know Friday and Saturday has been a pretty rough time on my elbow. Corey, Michael Todd, Paul Lynn beat me up during the workout and then beat me up on the table afterwards. And then Saturday I went and
won the state championship. So yeah, it's a monster factor. What else do you do?
Well, I won a state championship in a heavyweight class, in the super heavyweight. Got my ass kicked, and Paul Lynn made fun of me till I arm wrestled. And then afterwards, I found out he told everyone, I wouldn't arm wrestle if I was Storm. So he talked me into arm wrestling with the bummed elbow, and then come to find out, he was just making fun of me to do it.
What are friends
so
for,
you came
man?
back here and jumped in this thing twice.
Oh yeah,
Ready to go at it
I stayed in
again.
here
Ready to
2
go at it
times.
again.
Yeah.
All right, guys, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell for notifications.
Yep, thank you guys, and obviously you see I'm just starting my YouTube channel out, so don't forget to subscribe and click like. All right, guys, a little add-on to that video to go over what it looks like with the hyperbaric chamber from the inside while it's running. This clip I didn't actually start filming till after I was already starting to depressurize it, so you'll see that. And a little clip of what it looks like of a hyperbaric chamber running from the outside with someone in it. To go a little bit more into detail too, I didn't really describe the difference with Olympic athletes. Obviously they're training at less than atmospheric pressure because they train at high elevations, which has their body produce more red blood cells, where the hyperbaric chamber is kind of going above atmospheric, which allows for more oxygen solubility. Specifically, I was kind of talking about the plasma. Obviously, do a lot of your own research before purchase or using one. As I'm not a medical professional, I work at a power plant. Sorry about my kids; they're on the porch with me going nuts. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and by all means, if you have any questions, reach out to me, or obviously go to Google and YouTube for your own research. I personally do not own a hyperbaric chamber. I do plan on getting one sometime in the future. Obviously, it's a pretty big expense for what it is, but I do feel that it makes a huge difference and would be worth it if you could afford it. Thanks again for watching my videos, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And you guys all have a great night. Oxygen concentrator mask. I should have probably got the video a little bit sooner. Right now I'm in the deep process. Right here is a valve used to depressurize it. You also have a push release here that can release pressure a little bit quicker. There's some viewing windows. The main aspect is this is where the highly concentrated oxygen's coming in. So we're almost right back to regular atmospheric pressure. So we'll open this up a little bit more and let it finish pressurizing. We'll do a little bit more. I get out of here and kind of talk about the benefits of the hyperbaric chamber and a lot more aspects of what it could do.